Hello there, it's Steve-O here from the Elite FPL podcast and welcome to my latest edition of my wildcard draft. Now you may be thinking, hold a minute, you were advertising this morning that you were going to be doing a live stream at 6:30 this evening. That is correct, but as I keep stating, I'm bored, I enjoy doing these and I just, feel like doing it. So, obviously we all saw what happened last night. This young man here, Harry Kane, went and got himself injured. And it looks like, based on Pochettino's words, he is going to be out for potentially the rest of the season. I don't mean this literally, but it's almost a saving grace for us wildcarders because it saves us 12 points. He went down in price last night, so he's now down to 12.6. Now, I'm being a bit cheeky because last night I actually got rid of him. Do you know who I got rid of him for? Well, I'm going to show you. So, let's take him out. And this is the player that I brought in. It was Roberto Firmino. You may be thinking, what? Why on earth would you bring in Firmino? Well, the reality is that his form as of late has been really, really good. The last two fixtures versus top 6 teams, especially at home, has been superb. So, Tottenham at home, he scored 1 goal. Up here versus Man City, admittedly that was away, he scored a goal. And then, if you remember, and I know Dan will, here it is here, look at that, when they beat Arsenal again. I always take it with a pinch of salt regarding Arsenal and being away at the big teams, because as I stated at the start of the season, I genuinely believed that the way Emre sets up, it plays into the hands of real high-class teams, and teams like Liverpool just destroy them, and we see that he gets a hat-trick there. His form as of late, so he scored last night and also set up a goal. Scored 2 goals against Burnley. Got 1 away at Fulham. An assist, Goal against Tottenham, as I just mentioned. And of course, an assist versus Southampton away. And total this season, 12 goals, 8 assists. And I think that this is a player that we're overlooking regarding Liverpool assets. Now, I am fully aware that players like Mane and Salah are going to be the top of people's lists. But I just think Salah, for his price of 13.2 million, just for what he's returning, just isn't good enough. Mane, on the other hand, I've stated this before, and it's one of those where I've noticed a pattern with Mane where he goes on a streak, then he blanks for a load. Then he goes on a bit of a streak. Then he blanks for a load. Now, admittedly, since game week 23, he has been consistently performing. But the last 2 fixtures, including last night in the Champions League, he's done nothing. And that's concerning for me. But, again, I'm not going to be owning Mane for this wild card. What is interesting regarding this particular wildcard team now is that I've got 5.3 in the bank, and my goodness, have I got a lot of money to be playing around with. Now, I'm even now seriously tempted, based on fixtures for game week 35, I am seriously tempted to get rid of Eriksen and bring in a certain player called Eden Hazard for this game here. It's Chelsea versus Burnley. And to be honest with you, I think Chelsea are going to cruise to that. I think we are all overlooking single game week players. Just above, there's Liverpool there away at Cardiff. I mean, that should be a game where Liverpool take Cardiff out for the take. That should take out Cardiff quite easily. Chelsea, we all know their home form versus the poorer teams. I can see that being, like I said, a minimum of 2 goals for Chelsea. And you'd think that Hazard would be in the goals again. And again, we've already discussed he's a flat track bully. The Man City, I mean, again, whatever we want to look into this Tottenham Man City game last night, it does play on our minds. Laporte didn't get a clean sheet. Sterling did absolutely nothing last night. Now, the one player that did do something, but from a bad point of view, was Aguero. But I am seriously thinking of... It's tough. Either getting rid of Lacazette, and this is for the double game week 35, and bringing in Aguero for those 2 fixtures, based on the statistics that I said to you yesterday, that this season Aguero has done really, really well. And barring that missed penalty last night, he could have added to his total of 8 goals scored against the top 6 sides this season and making it 9. Yeah, he missed the penalty. I'm fully aware of this, but he went down in price last night as well. So that's another player, and I've still got 3 million in the bank, which means that I could upgrade Hudson-Odoi. You know, this money now, there is just so much money to play for, thanks to, not wishing him ill well, but thanks to Kane being knocked out last night, basically. Yeah, this is going to be really, really interesting. But as it stands right now, my transfer that I did immediately last night was getting rid of Kane and bringing in Firmino. And as my team is set up for the next game week right now, we're looking at the same structure as before. The only difference is obviously Firmino there instead of Kane. As it stands right now, let's have a quick look over at the Fantasy Football Scout site. As it stands right now, the captaincy poll, as we look at it, is in Son's favour by 31 votes. So there's a difference of 31 people between and Duffy for the captaincy this game week. As I've just shown you, as of right now, my captaincy is on Duffy, because I think that there's a high chance of him getting a clean sheet in one of the 2 fixtures. But Son captaincy at home to Huddersfield. But there's been a lot of talk about the form that Tottenham have after Champions League games, which isn't good reading whatsoever. I'm going to leave it there. I want to say that I keep stating this, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to. I cannot thank you guys enough for the support that you're showing us regarding our channel. We're nearly at 400 subscribers. We're just 2 away, which I just can't believe it. We are pretty much getting almost 5 subscribers a day, which is just extraordinary. Like I said, the feedback we're getting is absolutely fantastic. If you want to find out when we're next going live, so if you're watching this and you got to this point, I can tell you now, it is tonight, which is, I've completely forgotten the date. It's what? April the 9th. April the 10th, sorry. So Wednesday, April the 10th, we are going live tonight at 6:30 p.m. So to alliterate that point, 6:30 p.m, myself, Dan and Jason will be going live discussing all things Game Week 34, Game Week 35, wildcards, but more importantly, and this is the thing, and this is what I pride myself on, is our predictions. Like I keep stating, me and Dan are pretty good with our predictions, and it's always worth listening to what we have to say. Especially as I've decided today that I'm going to add a bit of a different option in the prediction. So normally what happens is myself, Dan and Jason will just take it in turns to choose what we think the results will be. Well, this time round, what I'm going to do is add an extra option, which is how the teams perform against their respective opposition. So, for example, how do Manchester City perform away at teams outside the bottom 6, as an example, and how well do Crystal Palace perform at home to top 6 teams, as an example. For all we know, Crystal Palace could perform really, really well, and Man City could perform really, really badly. Who knows? Same for teams like Spurs at home to bottom 6 teams, and how bottom 6 teams perform away at top 6 teams, as an example. So I highly recommend you tune in tonight, joining us live, and that means that you guys get to interact with us, and that's the most important thing for us. Your guys' input into our podcast, because it just helps the discussion carry on forward, basically. So if you have any talking points, any questions, observations or comments regarding the upcoming game week and double game week 35, by all means ask us. Either leave a comment in the comment section below, or more importantly, why not join us tonight live at 6:30 p.m. and you'll be able to get into the chat and be able to discuss everything with not just me, Dan and Jason, but also you'll be able to talk with the community that we've built as well. To keep in touch with any news regarding all things Elite FPL, go hit the follow button on Twitter and Instagram, which is at Elite FPL. If you've enjoyed this particular video or just enjoy our content full stop, by all means hit that subscribe button, and you'll be part of an ever-growing channel and an ever-growing community. So thanks very much for briefly watching this advert / wildcard, latest wildcard drafting system. We're going to be going into a lot of detail tonight, a lot of chat. It's going to be a lot of fun. Cheers, guys, and see you later on.